Hello, and welcome back to Crit and Crit. I'm Sint,
I'm Axiom.
and we are continuing our discussion of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince while we play through Final Fantasy V. I've been doing this for a while, can you tell?
Just a tad.
Anyway, we've discussed the characters and the plot developments on the effects they've had on these characters for quite some time, and come to the conclusion that there are several who are just under no circumstances able to be trusted. And yet, people do. In some cases, specifically for the fact that no one would consider them trustworthy. If that makes no sense to you, welcome to the wonderful world of espionage and double agents and making use of what you got.
Insert, a little bit of spy versus spy here, huh?
I was actually thinking Revolver Ocelot, Last Days of Foxhound, chronic backstabbing disorder.
Ah, yes. That was a lovely comic.
It was so great. I hadn't even played Metal Gear and I loved it.
I've only played the first one, so I really can't say a lot about it, but the comic was still hilarious.
Can you think of any particular character for Harry Potter who I might be talking about with the whole double agent thing?
I wonder if it's Severus Snape.
Yes, solid Snape. Or maybe Liquid. He's the potions master. He's Liquid Snape. He even has the British accent.
But does he have the recessive genes?
I think with a Polyjuice potion you can have whatever genes you want. For an hour, anyway.
That's fair.
It also explains why you can't really pull anything in this class, because the exclamation mark comes up whenever you do something.
Now, does that mean you can sneak into his class in a box?
I don't know, but I imagine if he catches you pulling stuff in this class, you'll be leaving it in a box.
Ooh.
But, yes. So, we'd actually known for a couple of books that Snape used to be a Death Eater. We've known for a bit that Snape has effectively been serving as a double agent since roughly about the time the Potters died. Dumbledore trusts him wholeheartedly, but Dumbledore appears to be the only member of the Order of the Phoenix who does. The rest all have quite a bit of baggage with him for one reason or another, but some are able to set that aside more easily than others. Harry, for example, despite knowing more than most people about what Dumbledore's up to, has no idea why Dumbledore trusts Snape so much, and has possibly the biggest grudge against him. So, you know. And on the one hand, given that it was most likely Snape coming to Dumbledore in confidence with his reasoning for why he's switching sides, good on Dumbledore for keeping it quiet, because, you know, that's a mark of integrity to keep someone's secret when they ask you to. On the other hand, when lives have already been lost for Sirius because of a lack of trust in how Snape does things, yeah, you might want to be a little more communicative with people who have to trust him, put their lives in his hands. As if you recall, Harry chased after Sirius because he thought Snape was not taking him seriously, when Snape was just playing his role as well as possible until he could contact the Order of the Phoenix safely. But because that trust isn't there, things went rather pear-shaped. And, well, Snape is honestly perfectly poised to be the double agent between Hogwarts and the Death Eaters, because, well, he's basically the only one who's gotten in with both. He's had to put on a pretty good show for Voldemort to, you know, explain why he's still, you know, not out committing murders right under Dumbledore's nose. Well, you need me to be your inside man, so I have to play the part. And he can tell that same story to Dumbledore, and, you know, makes it very difficult to know exactly which side he's on. And this was actually a huge bit of speculation when the books were first coming out, because no one knew what Snape's deal was.
Admittedly, this book ends in a fairly sizable cliffhanger on that regard. And, so much of that is left unexplained. We get the side scenes with Snape and Malfoy and all that. And then Snape kills Dumbledore, but as we said in the review, it could be argued that that Dumbledore was asking Snape to do so. And as
we will now segue the episode into the topic of assisted I'm sorry.
Oh, that didn't work.
It did not. Carry on.
We know in hindsight that that's what happened, but from the point of view of somebody who was just watching things as they were unfolding, so much of that is unexplained.
Yep. And, well, there's also the fact that because Snape basically got backed into a corner with the Unbreakable Oath, well, he promised that if Malfoy was unable to complete his mission, aka killing Dumbledore, he would finish the job. So, if you break an Unbreakable Oath, you die. So, he literally did not have a choice if he wanted to keep living. Now, this has obviously ruined his capability as a double agent, at least on the side of the Order of the Phoenix. If, pending what we learn when we read through Deathly Hallows, he turns out to still be on their side, he's in a very, very good position as a double agent. But, that's the thing. When you are playing things that close to the vest, you rapidly run out of allies that you can, explain things to. And because after a certain point, how many of the Order of the Phoenix do you think are going to listen to a word Snape says now that he's killed Dumbledore?
I certainly wouldn't be inclined to, and from the end of the story, it's very clear that Harry is not exactly in a benign mood towards Snape.
More so than usual.
Yeah, and I was about to say, and Harry already has a fair amount of distrust for Snape as it is. And Snape basically spent the last of his goodwill on that regard getting out of that situation. Because everyone else who was in the area at the time saw Snape coming out of that encounter and thought he was on the run getting Malfoy and the other students with him out of danger, so they let him pass. And then they find out a few minutes later when Harry shows up that no, he wasn't getting the students away, he was running away from the scenario he created, and oh, by the way, Dumbledore's dead.
So, yeah, Snape is really the big one for this, but there are other examples of our double agents. Malfoy is kind of one because, has joined the Death Eaters, but has to pretend to be still a regular student. Because, most places will not allow you to start, openly murderizing.
Which, as they should. But Admittedly, since we see, it's less noticeable to a lot of readers because we see everything from Harry's point of view, and Harry is immensely biased against Malfoy. So he goes in with this expectation of Malfoy being trouble.
Brand, this is gonna be. I'm going somewhere with this, but this is gonna be a little random. Did you ever see a pup named Scooby-Doo?
The cartoon show?
Yes.
Yeah, years ago.
So every single episode, Fred accuses Red Herring.
Yes, Red Herring.
There's one episode where he finally is the culprit and no one believes Fred. Just saying.
Yes, I remember that.
I think it's relevant, okay? It's always Malfoy. Harry, you always say it's Malfoy, but it's Malfoy. It's not Malfoy. Malfoy's up to something. You always think Malfoy. Oh, Malfoy is up to something. Well, crap. But we also have one more fairly prominent double agent who's mostly working in the background, but that would be Remus Lupin. Dumbledore wanted to get eyes and ears into, you know, the marginalized lycanthrope communities, and, well, we have the lycanthrope. So, yeah, not a great position to be in, not very glamorous, fairly dangerous, and part of why Lupin is very reticent to acknowledge Thomas's feelings for him. But yeah, each of these situations we have somebody perfectly poised to pass information back and forth as needed. It's just, you know, Malfoy's probably the least applicable to this situation, but Snape and Lupin are poised where they are just because their pasts uniquely suit them for this position, regardless of anything else. No one else on their team, as it stands at the moment, could do what they are doing. There is not another member of the Order of the Phoenix who could pass as a Death Eater. There is not another member of the Order of the Phoenix that can pass as a werewolf. And, yeah, it makes it very difficult for them to get any communication done as a result of this, especially because, well, Snape being Snape, does not let being on the same side of the war stop him from being petty within little battles.
Yep. Which does not go a long way to making Harry more inclined to trust him.
And to be fair, in any other situation, would you need the approval of a high school junior to do your job?
Oh, absolutely not. And nor should he in this case. The fact that Snape does appear to betray the Order completely aside, everything else taken into account, Snape was doing exactly what he was supposed to be doing. He had the approval and authorization of the person in charge. And the only reason we are having this conversation now is because Dumbledore happened to be wrong. If we were in the same situation, but Dumbledore was completely right, we would be looking at Harry as being an overly suspicious, overly paranoid, and extremely biased child.
And I have to pull another out there reference into this. Manly guys doing manly things. Ganondorf. Now Zelda, I can't condemn him on the suspicions of a 10-year-old. I need at least 2 10-year-olds of corroborating opinions.
Oh, yes. I'm going to burn this kingdom to the ground. Oh, so many good comics. But yeah, the only difference in this situation is that Harry happened to be right. And Harry did not figure out that he was right through any sort of deductive reasoning or discovering some secret that other people weren't able to get information about. He happened to notice that Malfoy was skulking off, but Malfoy skulking off is not that unusual. He didn't notice anything unusual about Snape's behavior other than that Snape doesn't like him. Which, okay, Snape doesn't like him, so what? None of this is unusual for Harry's experiences in any way. And like, I'm trying to put this into the right words. Sorry. Nothing Harry did, nothing Harry learned, nothing Harry did was in any way accessing information that was unavailable to everyone else. Harry did not figure out what Malfoy was up to or that Snape was a traitor. He just happened to be in the right place at the right time to see it happen. No more, no less.
And it's also, honestly, blind pig finds truffle news at 11.
Exactly.
He spent the entire series saying, I don't trust them, they're up to something, they're up to something. Yeah, if you say that enough, eventually it's gonna happen.
And, as I said, it was only basically luck that it happened to be happening to the people that he had been accusing this whole time. It would have been just as likely that his accusations would have been thrown at completely innocent people, and the real perpetrators going completely unnoticed. But this is Rowling, and Slytherin is always bad. So, yeah, Harry did not figure anything out of his own capability. He just happened to hit the hammer in the right spot enough times.
Yep. But I'm not really sure what we can add here.
I think we've kind of beaten this one into the ground, kind of like Harry has.
Yep.
And oh, that happened. Basically, the only real mystery here is how Harry managed to be the one to figure this out before anyone else, and that's mostly just... Well, it's not even a mystery. Like I said, he just happened to suspect the same people over and over, and eventually he got it right. There's no real special interest here. It's just main character does the thing. So I'm not sure what else to add, yeah.
I think that's honestly most of what we had written down to talk about. So I guess we have one more to finish up, and we will see you then.
See y'all next time.